Alright, you guys, so we're at the shop. It's like later at night. Jerry didn't want to work on the the SR because it was getting frustrating trying to get the cams in and everything with the gears. So what we're going to do is I'm going to flip the camera right fast. We are going to try and take the cam gear off. Whoa, it's not secured. So yeah, we're going to try and pull the cam gear off to make it easier to put the cams into the SR and everything, and have everything bolts up easier. And yeah, so we're about to pop this gear off. Hopefully it comes off. That's what we're going to do. Alright, you guys, so basically for the rest of this video I'm going to be doing a voiceover. Jerry, on the next day, like currently in the video it's at night, but the next day Jerry picks up the speed on building the SR because he is impatient and he wants to get everything done. I don't blame him. A lot of the stuff is self-explanatory, but I'm just going to do a voiceover just to basically explain what's going on and what he's doing. So right here in this clip, basically I'm just saying to torque down these bolts to 101 to 116 foot-pounds. Those are the cam gear bolts. So basically right here, you want to make sure that there's 9 links in between basically the dots on the cam gears. And also there's some darker colored links that when it's lined up properly on the bottom where the crank is, the darker links should line up where the dots are on the cam gears up top also. So keep that in mind. In this clip, I'm basically just explaining that we put the tensioner in, which is just those 2 bolts. And you're probably going to want to seal it with some type of silicone or actually it comes with a gasket. Don't forget to tighten down your guide for your cam gear. In this clip, basically it's just showing that the cast is in while Chris is trying to flick you guys off. So right here he's basically pointing out that you want to make sure that those 2 little dots, like the dot up at the top and the little notch on the cast, is lined up. So you want to make sure that you clean off your thermostat housing, and then you want to bolt it down with those 2 bolts and use some RTV or some silicone. On the outside, you want to make sure that you put your thermostat in, and then, like I said, for the water neck or the thermostat housing, you want to make sure you apply some silicone, and then you can bolt that down. Once he got finished on basically bolting that down, he pulled out his whole coolant line assembly with all those worm clamps and everything, that monstrosity. He pulled that out. He's about getting ready to bolt that down basically. But first he started to clean off where it gets bolted down, and I believe he silicones that also. Yep. So once he applied the silicone, then he just bolts it down. It's just 2 bolts right there. And then right underneath there's a little bracket basically, and there's 2 more bolts for that. and he just continues to bolt that down also. Then after that, there's like a second part that you have to, it's just basically all hoses. I'm not sure if there's a bracket for this, I don't think there was. He basically just slid it onto the coolant port. And then after that, he bolted down the knock sensor. It's probably easy to forget, so don't forget that, you guys. And then this is the oil sending unit. So basically it's just 4 bolts. You want to make sure you have those 2 orange O-rings that were on the back side. And then he basically just continued to bolt that down. Once he finished that, then he moved on to the motor mounts. He proceeded by doing the intake side first, and then he moved to the exhaust side and bolted those down. Once that was finished, and he cleaned off his exhaust manifold, crazy like that. And he also cleaned off basically the head where it bolts up to. He then applied the gasket. And then he basically proceeded to bolt it up. And when you're bolting this up, you bolt down, he bolted down the manifold first, and then he moved on to basically the coolant, like the coolant ports and the oil feeds in return for the turbo, as you see right here. So that's a coolant feed basically going around the back of the housing or the head, and then he bolted down the banjo bolts for the oil feeds. And basically in this clip, those 2 bolts that he's holding in his hand, we're trying to say that we forgot to put those in, and we're also trying to warn you guys to not forget to put these in. They're easily overlooked. They're just 2 head bolts. One goes in the back and one goes in the front. They're on the exhaust side of the head, so don't forget to put those in. After that, he just began to put in the alternator bracket. Then he moved to the intake manifold. He put the gasket on just to get it set. And then he moved down to actually bolting the plenum to the manifold basically. This right here is the throttle body bracket that he had to make. You're going to have to do this if you're going to swap it from basically a right-hand drive to a left-hand drive car. So now they're just bolting the manifold up, and they're getting all the coolant ports and everything that are underneath the manifold all hooked up and all that good stuff. Then proceeding to bolt it down. Adding a few more brackets to basically secure and support the manifold. I think there's 3 of them. In this clip, he just shows another one that he's bolting up. He had forgot to put the front main seal in, so now he's doing that. And then after that, he follows with the harmonic balancer. Once he did that, then he basically just bolted the alternator up. He didn't put any belts on it, but I'm pretty sure he's going to do that while it's in the car already. And then last but not least, he installed the can and oil filter. In this clip, I'm basically trying to fix my hair. It wasn't going so well, so I just said fuck it. Alright you guys, so the SR is basically finished, and we're about to push the 240 up to drop it in. So I'm going to end this video now. Stay tuned for next video. SR is going back into the 240. So like and subscribe, you guys. And I guess we'll see you guys next time. So later.